Welcome! In front of me is a ZTE Nubia Red Magic 7, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this device. So obviously, probably by just looking at the box you can gather that this is a straight up just gaming phone, and specs will basically represent that as well. So anyway, let's just pop it straight open and get right into this. So Red Magic. Now we usually get a case with these phones, and same goes for this phone. So I'm gonna heat that to the side. There was just paperwork in there, and here we get our case. A little bit too gamery, I would feel, at least in my case. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of like this super gamery aesthetics, even though I do play games myself. But to each their own. So if you like it, that's great. Anyway, let's see the phone next. There we go. Now the phone itself has a little bit cleaner look, though it does have this kind of like almost RGB like look to it. It's hard to pick up by the camera because you see these little dots right here. To me, they actually change colors a little bit to represent like the red, green and blue almost colors, but for the love of God, I cannot make the camera pick it up whatsoever. It's very faint. I will mention this. It's not very visible. Maybe that's why the camera is not picking it up, but it is there. Anyway, I'm gonna turn on the phone, and I'm gonna move over to the rest of the things that are in the box. So there we go. It's now turning on. Just a cardboard. Heat that to the side. We get a charging cable, Type-C to Type-C, and a charger. Now this is a 65-watt charger. Now I'm going to try to show it on the camera. You can see it right here. The last little sticking thingy thing, 65W, that's the wattage. So charger, and charger seems to be pretty decent. Now let's move over to the phone. I'm going to go through a quick setup right here. Set up offline. So while I'm setting it up, I'm gonna mention or start off with the display. So we're looking at 6.8-inch display, as this is a AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 165 Hertz refresh rate, which is a little bit nutty, and about 700 nits of typical brightness. And there we go, there's our home screen. Now as you can see it... Hello? It has some like weirdish gaming vibe to it with the widgets, though in terms of apps, I don't really see many like bloat apps. So it seems like it doesn't have too much bloatware. That's sort of like a weird couple apps. So there we go. But apart from that, it seems to be pretty okay. What the heck is this? My native language is English? Whatever. So anyway. Now, right off the bat, when you power on the device for the very first time, the phone will be set to 90 Hertz, which you can see right here. So if you want to get the full potential of your display, navigate into your display and then show screen refresh rate, and you can select it to be either 120, 165 or whatever else you want. I'm just gonna for now set it to the highest one. So there we go. Now we should have this stupid buttery smooth animations. Okay, so now moving on, let's flip it over to the back and you will see our triple camera setup. So to be honest, this is just a dual camera setup with a little bit of marketing. So we have a 64 megapixel wide sensor and 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and a sticker camera at 2 megapixel macro. This is absolute dog shit, don't use that. 64 megapixel will take better photos close up than the 2 megapixel macro when you use 2x zoom. And you know what, I'm just gonna show this off for everybody who might not believe me. So let's launch the camera. So right now, this is just a typical camera. I'm gonna do a 2x zoom that will allow me to get up closer to the subject, or make it look like it's closer, while still keeping relatively decent amount of details. And let's see. Okay, there we go. So that's a normal photo. Now let's find the macro. Boom, there it is. And there we go. So the first one you will see right now is the macro. And there we go. We can start to see that it looks a little bit atrocious. It has this, like, I don't even know how to call it, an oil painting look to it. And if we look at this one, this is the 2x zoom. It has, well, way more detail obviously, and also higher resolution. So like I said, macro lens here is just a joke. It's more an insult to a customer, that company thinks that you'll be tricked by this, like, marketing. And obviously you do need to pay for that camera. So that's even bigger insult. So you're paying for the camera that isn't good and it's outperformed by just the main sensor. And instead of that, oh, I don't know, they could have just not included it, dropped the freaking price, and call it a day. Just because your camera, or not camera, just because your phone doesn't have 3 cameras set up doesn't make it bad. It makes it more cost effective. And obviously, it's like, why the F would you even want this if it doesn't really work? Because at this point, if just a 64 megapixel main sensor outperforms this dedicated macro at its own job, then what is the point of it? So there we go. Now I'm kind of ragging on this camera, but truth is, ZTE isn't the only one who's doing it. Literally every company on the market is doing this stupid shit. So I have no sympathy for any company when they're doing trash like this. So when you think that I might be just, I don't know, picking on just this brand itself, it's not really the case. I'm just picking on every phone that does this insult to its customer. Anyway, did put the case on just so you can see also how it looks like. There we go. Now, after the cameras, we can move over to the front. We do have a little hole punch, not hole punch, we do have bezels right here. So it's in the bezel, as you can see. And this is a 8 megapixel wide sensor, so quite a small sensor. It records at 1080p 30 frames. Now when it comes onto the back sensors, we can record at 8K 30 frames. So if you're planning to record at a little bit more sensible resolutions like 4K, then you can also record at 60 frames, which is pretty nice. And obviously if you drop it even lower to 1080p, you can record 30, 60, 120 and 240, though I believe the two last ones, the 120 and 240, are just a slow motion. Anyway, now moving to the next part, it would be the internals right here. So we have several, like really several different options when it comes down to storage and RAM. Not exactly sure how to even showcase this or explain it in a most sensible way. So the very base model comes with 128 gigs storage and 8 gigs of RAM. This is like the very base model. At the top end, the highest one you can, you get 512 gigs of storage and 16 gigs of RAM apparently. I'm reading this off of GSM Arena, and this actually seems like it might be a typo, because 256 storage, half of the storage comes with 18 gigs of RAM. Now this could be intended like this, I have no idea, but usually with more storage you also have a possibility with more RAM. They kind of go like usually storage then RAM. So it could be incorrect, but heck would know. I'm gonna check which version I actually have, because I haven't done so yet. Let's see, where is it? So I have the 128 gigs storage with not displayed RAM on the box. Let's see what we get in the settings. About phone, 12 gigs of RAM. So this is the almost the very base model. It's the second cheapest version of this phone. So there we go. Now, like I said, 128 is the base. In terms of storage, you also have the 256 and 512. and RAM goes basically 8, 12, 16 and 18 gigs. And storage, or not storage, battery capacity is 512 milliamp hours. And obviously, as we've seen before, we do have a 65-watt charger that comes in the box with the device. And it actually doesn't specify right here what it charges at. Now, one thing to mention also about the charger, internationally get a 65-watt charger. But China gets a 120-watt charger, which is advertised to charge the phone to full in 17 minutes. Nice. That is stupidly fast. Obviously, charging your phone this fast, it's really nice. But if you already have this phone, I would recommend just chilling the heck out with this, and maybe lowering it down in the settings if you have the option to, just because that will degrade your battery quicker than if you're charging it slower. If you don't need to charge it this fast, then just drop it down to something more sensible, and from there you can just make your battery last a little bit longer by doing so. Anyway, now last thing to say about this phone, it would be just the couple different features about it, so associated with build quality. So we do have a little fan right here, which is a really interesting kind of thing. So as you can see, we have a little grill right here and here to exhaust intake and exhaust the hot air from the processor. We have this switch. Now you might think that this is the mute switch. This is not. And let me just show you. Boop, you flip it over and it launches the little gaming interface. So that's what it is. It's a quick way to get into your games, or like the game library, where you can launch it through this gaming mode. And this will give you a couple additional features, like for instance checking your frame rate, allowing you to record, silencing any kind of interruptions that might be coming in your way, allowing you to also customize these little touch sensitive triggers right here. And obviously, additional thing, you do have the touch sensitive triggers. So right here, I'm gonna take off the case just so you can maybe see it a little bit better without the case. So here we go. You can see that they're just like this grayish spots on the frame, and when you drag your finger over it, you cannot feel it whatsoever. So they don't have any kind of like actual presence when you're holding it. You don't really feel them all that much or at all. Personally, I do prefer the pop-out triggers, where you have this like switch, you flip it over and it just pops out with an actual physical button. So that's really nice. That's something that I prefer. But obviously for just casual gaming, this might be a little bit more cost effective probably, and additionally less prone to possible breaking, because it's just a part of the frame that doesn't really do anything. It just senses that you're touching it, and that's it. So there we go. Now last thing to mention, we do have a physical actual headphone jack right here at the top, and yeah, you can just wire up your cans. And at the bottom we have the charging port, SIM tray, and the speaker grill. Now in SIM tray, I believe we only have space for a SIM. Yep, this is just a SIM and no SD card. So if you were thinking that you can expand storage using an SD card, no, you cannot. So there we go. Now with that being said, to finish this off, just kind of giving my last thoughts right here. It's a pretty decent phone. It has a little bit of this gamer aesthetics. If you would put on a case that just doesn't scream as, covers up the super gamery look, this phone is a really powerful phone for a small price, to be honest, because it comes at about 630 euros. It might be even cheaper by the time you see this video, just because Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is basically on the way, so this would make it a little bit outdated. This is running, or technically it's already outdated. This is running Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. There is already Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, like the ones that are in the fold, and Samsung Galaxy S23s supposedly will be coming soon with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So this would make this 2 generations behind, and because of that you might expect a price decrease, obviously. But other than that, for comparing it to, like I was mentioning before, it's not Samsung's. This comes at about 600 euros, while Samsung's usually come at 1,000 and above, obviously. So not these phones are in a completely different categories. Obviously, also both brands do these specific models do cater towards different people. So Samsung obviously tries to cater more towards like power users and photography, while Nubia is catering more towards gamers with their obviously triggers and all that stuff. So for the price that you get to pay here, 600 about, maybe even less depending on when you're watching this, it's a freakishly good phone. It's going to be super powerful, it has really nice display. The only downside right here are just the cameras. So if you don't mind sacrificing just a little bit in the photo department, just the quality of your pictures that you take, maybe you don't even take too much pictures and you don't care, this is a fantastic device in this case. So with that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.